The Secret Garden in July, Part 2. Now we're going to have a look at the back garden for the very last time today. There's still some roses out and clematis are coming out now. This one is Tankatika. This one will carry on flowering right until the frosts. A good clematis, that one. And moving down here, we're coming into the herbaceous borders, both sides of the path here. Quite a bit of colour now. You can see how the Cross of Jerusalem stand out above all the rest. It's strange to think that if a crusader came down this garden path, he'd recognise these plants. I wonder if he took the seeds or dug some roots up when he was in the Holy Land as souvenirs to bring back to plant by his castle walls, to remind him of his crusade to the Holy Lands. Or perhaps it was pilgrims coming back that brought them into Europe. Behind we got Yellow Centuria, strutting his stuff at the moment. I think Margaret of Anjou would be very pleased to see her marguerites blooming in a Yorkshire garden, considering she was on the Lancastrian side during the War of the Roses. A nice dark clematis up there, that's Polish Spirit. And across here we've got a huge campanula. It must be at least 6 foot high, and it doesn't have to grow that tall. If you want it shorter, then you give it what's called the Chelsea chop, which means that in the 3rd week of May, which is when Chelsea flower show's on, and the plant's probably about a couple of foot high at that time, you cut it in half, and then it will flower at about 3 foot high a little bit later, but you won't need to do any staking then. You can do that with a lot of the plants, give them the Chelsea chop, and they grow a lot shorter then. Moving down, you're probably thinking, there's a lot of work there, but because everything's packed in tight, there's very little weeding to do. The weeds don't stand a chance, and when autumn time comes, then I just use a hedge trimmer at ground level and scythe everything down, and then rake it all up and put it on the compost bin. I could do this border in a morning, so although it looks a lot of work, it doesn't take long. And anyway, I don't mind physical work. I always think it lightens your mood a lot. Coming down here, there was something I wanted to show you. Down the steps here. If we look up here, right up to the weather vane at the top there, you can see that we are facing due north. This is a north-facing wall, and we've got a rose growing on it. Other people say you can't grow roses on a north wall, but this one, called Dizzy Heights, grows very, very well, and we've got a clematis blue angel growing through it, and they're both growing out of a beer barrel. So it is possible to grow roses on a north wall. This wall will get some sunlight early in the morning and then late afternoon into the evening. So if a wall gets 4 hours of sunlight, then apparently you can grow any climbers on it. That one certainly does all right anyway. Moving up here, we come to the small garden which I designed in winter, passing by these lovely bank of lavender here and into this small garden. It's a matter of imagining what it could look like, and drawing up your design, and then waiting till summertime comes and seeing if what you'd imagined comes out as good as you thought it would. This one's not too bad. I'm quite pleased with it. I'll grow a few more lilies next year, and the Bonica roses will be much taller then, so they'll make a bigger show. But you can perhaps see why this geranium won the prize for the best new plant for the last 100 years. It's a lovely geranium, and it'll flower anywhere, shade, sun, slugs don't bother it. It'll flower until October profusely, and the Bonica roses are a nice complement to it. And then the lovely, oh, I wish you could smell these lilies. Absolutely beautiful these regal lilies are. And across here as well. I think they're, now look, I can see one of those lily beetles on there that I was telling you about. So I'm going to put my hand underneath, and it's dropped off, luckily for me, into my hand. The alliums are going over now, but you can see I've cut one up here, and I'll hang it upside down and dry it and use that for a dried flower display in the house. They're amazing things, aren't they? They rather remind me of an exploding firework, really. The garden will carry on like this for a few weeks yet, but really that's it. You've seen the garden in May when there was the azaleas out. Then you saw the garden in June with all the roses out, and now July, still more roses out, and the herbaceous borders out, nearly in full bloom now. They'll carry on, as I say, for a few weeks, but when they're all over and you think that's the end, that's really only just the beginning for this border down here, because this border, well, if you remember me telling you last time, is the Michaelmas daisy border, and this border will carry on flowering from August right up to the frosts. Lovely blues, all shades of blues and pinks and purples. Wonderful display, and that's the flower's final blaze in the autumn's misty haze. There you are. We're finishing on a rhyming couplet, and you don't get rhyming couplets with Alan Titchmarsh, do you?